Okay, we are holding Siyat Shemaim Perek Yud, which is talking about the higher level of tshuva. We had two levels of tshuva, the low one and the higher one. We've been speaking about that the last few prokim. We now continue to Perek Yud V'hinei tshuva ilo dafka zu de istabkusa de rucha berucha al yedei. We spoke about this idea of being mistabik, of connecting, of combining durucha, spirit to spirit. I guess that would be translated as al yedei, through Torah and Gimelas Chosadim. Those are the two things that can cause the rucha berucha to be mistabik one to the other, which of course leads a person to the tshuva ilah. He mebchinas hamshacha milamala. That brings down this flow that comes from above, that brings with it a tremendous divine energy. Liyos dva Hashem mamash befiv ukemoy shekosev v'osim tvorai beficha. Okay, which is something that we want, which is we want a person to have the Dvar Hashem in his mouth, and that's how you do it. V'osim dvarim beficha, v'yiminoi techabkeni, b'gemilas chasodim dafka. Why? The chesed zuk the Zohar Kodesh, the roya yimina. Zuk the Zohar Kodesh, chesed is the Rabbeinu Shalom's kaviyachol right arm. Avol. However, if you want to actually make a connection between rucha and rucha, Odom hatachtoin, us lower, people that live in a physical world, tzorech leilech mimadrega lemadrega. We have to go slowly. We have to go step by step. Mimata lamala, from the bottom step, lower madrega to the high madrega. He b'chinas tshuva ilah v'yistabkus rucha berucha. So you have to start with tshuva tata, and then you can eventually get to tshuva ilah, and then you can do rucha de rucha as he said before. How? The kavanas halev b'tfilah. This is going with something that we've learned all the way back in Sefer Shalbeinanim, where he talks about the gadlus of when a person has to be mispoinin when it comes to davening, and various parts of davening specifically, as he's going to explain over here. Ubefrat bekrishma bechoseha. There's a very important chilek of Krishma. Kabbalas o Malchus Shemayim, Hashem Echad. All of these halakim are very, very important because these, at the end of the day, is what gives a person the kavanah, if he obviously thinks about it, and then he's really able to get to the bechina of tshuva ilah and v'stapkus rucha berucha. Kedei loyma v'ahafta. When it says v'ahafta Hashem Elokecha, you're not just saying the words. It's b'chol levav v'chol nafshecha. It means mamash with your whole leiv, with your whole nefesh. Be'emes lamitai. You have to say, you have to mean it, you have to understand, you have to contemplate it. V'chein v'hoyu advar me'ele v'chulei v'dibar tabam. All of these lashonis of Krishma, liyos dvar Hashem befiv be'emes. It's not enough that you're saying the words befiv. It needs to also be be'emes. You have to believe it, you have to understand it, you have to internalize it, to live it. Ve'ein emes. As the end of the quote, of course, is Yerushalmi ve'in emes ela Torah. V'chein l'kaim kol hamitzvos. Also, as well, the same thing as well, that when we say the words in Kriya Shema, they should actually physically affect how we learn Torah later. So if your first Seder is a better first Seder because of your Shachris, that means you did this well. If your first Seder is exactly the same as it was without not enough community between whether you davened or didn't daven well, so then obviously you didn't do anything. And that's what he's telling us. Kedusha, we always translate it as holiness. Ata Kodesh, Hashem, you're holy. It's not really the translation. It's Kodesh means much more than that. It means separate from us. It means no shaykhas to us. Who bechinas Kodesh ha'elyon, lashon precious va'avdola. We say Ata Kodesh, or now we say now, specifically now, coming up soon, HaMelech HaKodesh, starting tomorrow night. HaMelech HaKodesh means, HaMelech HaKodesh is the Kodesh is Kodesh lashon precious va'avdola, separate to us, no shaykhas. She'eni yochelis labish toich olmin. It's not the pshat that it's shaykh for a person to become included and to become embodied in the rest of the world that are actually created, which are physical. Mishum, why? Why is that impossible? To koloi choshev. Again, it's not shaykh to imagine and to figure out what it means that the Rabbeinu Shalom is down in this world, and for a person to be hislabish into this world. It's not negay because it's so separate. Ata Kodesh, the Rabbeinu Shalom, the kedusha that you have is so separate, so mavdil from us. Ella. This energy is bebchinas soivev kol omen. It turns around the globe, the world. Who rotzana elim baruch hu v'cholei. K'moshe is what b'lekutei morim parak mem vov v'gam achat tefillah oimim elecha Hashem nafshi esa. As far as I know, it's not how many, but I think in the Ari Siddur they do actually say this. They do say this over here. I think at the end of Shachas, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Sorry, but as far as I know, Sfard and Ashkenaz doesn't have that. But Akoponim Dahainu leistabka rucha berucha kol hayom. Sidari, yeah. In order to do that, is you're going to continue everything you've davened the whole day. It's not something you close the siddur and say like isn't it we'll see mincha. You've got to be mamshek that connection the whole day. How al yidei hahisbonus begedulas ein sof baruch hu. Ba'amokas hadas b'shtayim lefnei psuke dezima kenoida. It means during Krishma you're meant to be mispoinen. You've got to think about this. Dafka when Krishma. And of course, the two brachas before and Pesukah Dezimah. These are the times I think about the Gadlus Hashem. Since now, the Tanya, Tefillah is a bechina, or Tshuvah. It means before I do that, as we said before, you got to go madrega, step by step. You got to start with Tshuvah Tata. That means when you daven, it has to be serious. It's not a joke. Tefillah is a real thing. Tefillah is a serious time, not a sad time. It's a serious time. Remember, sad, serious, no shaykhs. It's a serious time. It's from Fursha Chazal. Ein oindin ispala and metoy kovidish. A person is in masav leitzolos, not the right time to daven. Or perish Rashi hachna. Rashi over there learns with humility, with your realization of who you're talking to, capital W, and who can answer all your prayers. V'hi b'b'chinas tshuva tatola urachman kanal, or the yadav hosom b'gemara mikra t'ksiv v'hi moris nefesh. Achein, b'raisa sham tanu abanan ein dom nispala metoich simcha. Steht in the Gemara Mefurish that you only meant to daven ela metoich simcha. Right? Simcha, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean holiness. Simcha shel holiness, which is making fun and joking around and whatever. Simcha means a state of happiness, or simcha, inner simcha. And now in our very, very shvach dor hayosam hazeh. She'ena kol yichoyin lahapach libam k'regem menakotze. We don't have the ability to change our emotions from minute to minute. 1 minute we're serious, 1 minute happy. We can't do that. As I ate sayutze lahagte b'chinas tshuva tato. That's why the H is to start with tshuva tato. But King Chanzoi's canal. We spoke about this right in the beginning. Go back to the first parak and second parak and third parak, talking all about that. Amishi yev shaloi l'chol laila. Okay, what do you want me to do? I meant to take a Chanzois every single night, 12:30 every night. Meant to be up for 2 hours talking about the. Some sofer said that if a guy didn't cry during taking Chanzois, we have to, I don't know if check his yichus, right? Somebody said with the shlik tzib over there. If you can't do it, at least once a week. Lifnei yom Shabbos, k'noida liyodim sheShabbos is b'chinas tshuva lo. Shabbos is b'chinas tshuva lo. So before that, at least tshuva tato. So at least do it then. The Shabbos oisus toshev enoish lashon of tshuva ki Shabbos aliyah soilomis hoilomis lemekorim v'cholu v'pratfil so Shabbos v'danim. Heaven everybody knows. Okay, again, it all ties in with this idea of tshuva, of returning. Okay, but say that the rest of it is not something that we have to mamish go into, but the idea is we have to go step by step. Tshuva tato, which we spoke about, being mispoined and everything else, and then getting to tefillah, which is meant to be done properly, and when that's done, you get to tshuva, ilan. Hopefully, halavai we can become, and he says once a week, I don't know, maybe once a month, once a year, maybe once a lifetime, something that we should do, Be'ez Hashem, B'siyat Dishmaya. Next time, Perek Yud Aleph B'siyat Dishmaya.